Alright, we are here in beautiful sunny Florida, and today, people, we are going to be breaking down UFC Albany Fight Night 102, Derek Lewis versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. And, it's a fun fight. Obviously, this card isn't the best, but, man, we get some, those four main card fights, all light heavyweights and above. We are going to see some knockouts and some violent stuff, so, although this card isn't the greatest, there is some potential for some serious violence here, and unfortunately, there is only odds out right now for those top four fights. So those are the only odds we're going to be discussing here. I only have two bets for this card as of right now, but let's get into this card. Also, if you have not checked out my UFC 206 breakdown, go check that out as soon as you watch this. Some serious discussions on there, some awesome fights. So let's get into this card, man. First up, we got Juliana Lima taking on JJ Aldrich. So it's an interesting ladies fight here. I do like this fight. It's fun. It is hard to gauge how good Juliana Lima is because the two girls she lost to were possibly the best striker in the division in Joanna and the best wrestler in the division in Carla Esparza. But the two girls she beat in the UFC, Erica Almeida and Nina Anzarov, are not very good at all. So, man, it's really hard to tell how good Juliana Lima is, huh? I think JJ Aldrich is better than the two girls she beat, but obviously not as good as the two girls she lost to. But with this matchup, obviously Juliana, very good Muay Thai. She's got some problems with her takedown defense and her ground game. But man, I think JJ Aldrich can hang in the striking department anyway. She's very good at setting her pace, making it her fight. Very aggressive. She just comes forward. She is a scrappy woman, and I think she can put it on Juliana Lima here. I do think JJ Aldrich is going to be the underdog here, and I really hope I can get a good price on her because I like JJ Aldrich a lot here. Even if Juliana Lima does find her range and outstrikes JJ Aldrich, which is a clear possibility, I think the striking is very even. I'm just saying. I think JJ is going to outstrike her and outvolume her just based on age. Juliana Lima is getting up there. Aldrich has looked more impressive lately, but I think JJ Aldrich can get takedowns and grind this out also and take a book out of a page out of Carlo Esparza's book. So with Juliana Lima aging and JJ Aldrich fastly improving, I like her to use all her tools and outvolume Juliana Lima on the feet and mix up takedowns. I like JJ Aldrich via a 30-27 decision. Next up, man. I don't want to talk about this fight, honestly, but we got Keith Berish returning, taking on Ryan James. Possibly the most uninteresting UFC fight of all time. I'm going to be honest, I do not care about this fight at all, just being honest, but Keith Berish is getting that home state New York fight. He's very lucky to get it. There's some New York guys that deserve it a hell of a lot more than him, but Keith Berish is coming off a 2.5-year layoff here, and Ryan James is coming off a 1.5-year layoff also, and he's making his UFC debut. But Keith Berish, he has one fight in the UFC. It was against Robert Drysdale, and Robert Drysdale just took him down and submitted him very quickly. The thing is here, I do think Keith Berish, he's more of a striker. Ryan James, more of a grappler. Like I said, it's not terrible to go out there and get submitted by BJJ Wiz and Robert Drysdale. What bothered me is how bad Berish's takedown defense looked against Drysdale. Drysdale is no wrestler, and Drysdale took him down with ease, man. How I see this fight going, Keith Berish possibly keeping this fight on his feet and winning a close striking battle, or Ryan James taking him down at will and dominating him there for 3 rounds. Ryan James is a good grappler. That is all really he has going for him, but he is a good grappler, and Ryan James could possibly get a submission here just like Drysdale did. I mean, Ryan James is no grappler like Robert Drysdale, but my official pick here is going to be Ryan James via a 29-28 decision, and man, I'm most likely going to be staying away from this fight unless Ryan James is a good-sized underdog, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't really want to put my money on Ryan James, but if he's a good size underdog, I'm gonna absolutely take that shot. And next up, we got a fun one here, man. We got Frankie Perez coming out of retirement to take on Mark Diakiese. So Frankie Perez coming out of retirement. Frankie, very skilled guy. He's not elite by any means, but he is a very skilled fighter. He did retire on that win against Sam Stout. He KO'd Sam Stout, but Sam Stout's chin is absolutely shot. It's really hard to come back with retirement in your mind. Coming off a very long layoff against a killer in Mark Diakiese. Mark Diakiese really, really impressed me. He did show some a little bad takedown defense in that fight against Łukasz Sajewski, but man, he still won that fight, man. He managed to compose himself, defend takedowns, and just destroy Łukasz Sajewski. And man, I think. I don't think Frankie Perez is a grappler that Łukasz Sajewski is, so I don't think Frankie Perez by any means is going to be able to go out there and take down Mark Diakiese. I think this is going to be a striking battle, and man, I like Mark Diakiese to absolutely shine in a striking battle against Frankie Perez. Man, just like he did on the European circuit, he just went out there and starched everyone in a matter of minutes. And Frankie Perez coming back after a very long layoff, he's not going to be as sharp as he used to be. I like Mark Diakiese to go out there and showcase his skills. My official pick is going to be Mark Diakiese via a first round KO. So moving on. This is an alright fight here. It's very hard to get a read on this fight. One of the hardest on the weekend to get a read on, in my opinion. But we got Thiago Trator taking on Burgos. I'm forgetting the dude's first name, but I'll look that up in a second. But man, both these guys coming off, or I should say, both these guys very inactive. Thiago Trator, I think he's the better grappler here, but Burgos, he's the better striker here, and he's got very big power. And we saw Thiago Trator, he got knocked out by Mike De La Torre, and if Mike De La Torre can knock him out, I think this guy here, Shane Burgos, that's his name, Shane Burgos, he's got very good striking, big power. Who's he training with? Shane Burgos is training. He's training in New York. I know he's a New York guy. I'm not 100% sure what gym he's at in New York. I don't know if he's with Sarah Longo or that Long Island. But man, I like Shane Burgos to shine here. I don't think Thiago Trator is going to have much for him on the feet. I think Shane Burgos can absolutely, maybe not stuff takedowns, but absolutely hold his own on the ground and get back up to the feet. And simply put, man, not much to say in this fight. I think Shane Burgos is going to go out there and get that stoppage. Official pick, Shane Burgos via a first-round TKO. And when it comes to betting on this fight, making his UFC debut, it's tough to bet on Shane Burgos. He'd have to be very close to even money or an underdog for me to take the shot on him. But moving on here, we got... very unfortunate that Tatiana Suarez had to pull out of this card. But... her co-winner on the show, we got Andrew Sanchez taking on Trevor Smith. So, Trevor Smith, he did go out there and get the job done in his last fight. Absolutely dominated Joe Giggliotti, and I just think he had a huge size advantage over Joe Giggliotti, and he's not. Trevor Smith is by no means a very skilled fighter. He just went out there and took advantage of his experience and used his size and grinded out Joe Giggliotti. And Andrew Sanchez is a guy that has some serious skills that are improving drastically. He's a very good fighter, man. I like Andrew Sanchez. He did get knocked out by Kevin Casey a long time ago, but he's made massive improvements since then. And Kevin Casey is a guy with big power, so a young fighter getting knocked out by a guy with big power won't hold him too much to it. Andrew Sanchez, now making his UFC 185-pound debut. I think he's really going to shine here. He's actually going to have some size to him here. He's a great wrestler, great striker. He's really putting together a great striking arsenal. Big power. He was able to starch and knock out Eric Spicely in a matter of seconds when not even Thiago Santos could do that. So obviously Andrew Sanchez does have a very lethal striking game here. And Man, I think Trevor Smith is going to be looking to get takedowns here, but I think Andrew Sanchez, being the great wrestler he is going to be able to stuff them and absolutely starch Trevor Smith on the feet here. I am going with Andrew Sanchez via a first round TKO. I do think the man is going to make a statement. And when it comes to betting, if the price is right, I like a play on Andrew Sanchez. But next up, we got Joe Giggliotti taking on Gerald Meerschaert. So, I like Giggliotti. He's got some great skills. He's got a good mind for the sport. Only problem is he's still super green, and he's very small for 185. And it's the opposite with Meerschaert, man. Meerschaert is a big 185-pounder with tons of experience, just like Trevor Smith was. I think Meerschaert's going to be able to pull a page out of Trevor Smith's book, take Giggliotti down, and just put on a grappling clinic. Only thing in here is Meerschaert is actually going to be able to get the finish, whereas Trevor Smith could not. Giggliotti, he's got big power. He could knock out Meerschaert in the feet here. You never know. Meerschaert, he's got a very good chin, very good striker as well. I think he's going to be able to hold his own on the striking, and I think his key to victory here is to go ahead and take down Giggliotti and put on a grappling display. And my official pick here is going to be Gerald Meerschaert via a second round submission. And of course, if the price is right on Gerald Meerschaert, I am going to be making a play on him. So moving on here. Solid fight. We got Randy Brown taking on Brian Camozzi. I saw a lot of people kind of give up on Randy Brown after his last performance, even though he won. Just showed a lot of weakness there against Eric Montano. I won't be betting on Randy Brown unless I see some major improvements, but I have not given up on the guy. I think he's still very athletic, big for the weight class, does have some skills. Of course, a lot of room for improvement there, but that being said, he does have a very tough fight here. Brian Camozzi, who is way better than his brother, by the way, actually has excellent jiu-jitsu when Chris Camozzi really lacks jiu-jitsu. Brian Camozzi, very good jiu-jitsu. Got deadly kicks. Great in the clinch, man. His Muay Thai is absolutely excellent. And, man, Randy Brown, I think all he really has going for him here is he's got that UFC experience. He's really the first guy that Brian has fought that's bigger than him, and he's got that reach. And unless Brown can keep distance and outbox Camozzi for 3 rounds, I think that's unlikely. Brian Camozzi, he doesn't have the best wrestling, but man, Brown doesn't have the best takedown defense. So if Brian Camozzi chooses to, he can absolutely take down Randy Brown and put on a grappling clinic. And even on the feet, Brian, he can cause Randy a lot of problems. Randy Brown, he does leave his legs open to leg kicks. Brian Camozzi, very good with leg kicks. And then if Brian Camozzi closes distance and makes this a clinch game, I think Brian Camozzi is going to absolutely shine in the clinch. And so I think Randy Brown's going to be able to do enough to survive here, but ultimately I do like Brian Camozzi to get the decision victory. My official pick is going to be Brian Camozzi via a 30-27 decision. And when it comes to betting, still is a Camozzi brother. And like I said, Randy Brown, he's still dangerous. He's still a good guy. I would consider a bet on Brian Camozzi, but the odds would have to be very close for that, or he would have to be an underdog. But I think I like Brian Camozzi to be the favorite here, I'm pretty sure. But moving on, we got our second ladies fight of the night. This one's I wouldn't say as good as the other one, but man, we got Justine Kish taking on Ashley Yoder, and I see a lot of people on Kish here very confidently, and to me this is a very, very close fight. Kish, unfortunately, she's been hammered with injuries, and she's had one fight in the last 3 years. She showed good striking. She is a very good striker. She showed good striking in her UFC debut against Nina Ansaroff, but man, that was a razor close fight. And Ashley Yoder is someone, she's a lot more active. She's rapidly improving. Her last performance in Invicta against Amber Brown, who's a very tough woman. Yoder went out there and submitted her. Very impressive win. Yoder she's tough as nails, man. She trains at one of the toughest gyms at Team Quest with Sam Alvey and Dan Henderson. Showed great grappling on her last fight, and I like her chances to go ahead and out-grapple the very inactive fighter in Justine Kish here. I think, of course, it is very likely that Justine Kish defends takedowns and outstrikes Ashley Yoder over the course of 3 rounds, but, with more ways to win here, I think Ashley Yoder can win a decision by grinding her out on the ground or getting a submission. With more ways to win, I think Justine Kish can only win a decision. I don't see Justine Kish going out there and knocking out Ashley Yoder, and it's very close. I'm going to go with Ashley Yoder via a 29-28 decision here, and I do expect her to be the underdog, and hopefully I can get a good price on her. So that would be my recommendation here, man. Like I said, a lot of people confident on Kish. Hopefully they hammer that line on her. I can get a good price on Ashley Yoder. But moving on, finally we got 4 fights we can talk about with some odds. We got first up, Corey Anderson minus 400 taking on Sean O'Connell up to plus 325 now. Man, so like I said, the first of some big man fights, all the top 4 fights here, light heavyweight and above, we're gonna see some serious violence. This fight is interesting in that I would consider Corey Anderson the more athletic guy, the more just gifted fighter of the two. But I would consider Sean O'Connell the better fighter. He's more of a fighter than Corey Anderson. He's got more heart, grit, determination, toughness, all the things that make a great fighter. Corey Anderson, he's just a good athlete here, and he's got some size. He's going to be looking to take down Sean O'Connell here. Corey Anderson, he's a guy that's disappointed me in the past. I thought he was going to go out and dominate Shogun. Didn't happen, although I did think he won that fight. The way he threw away that fight against Gian Villante is a fuck-up that I will have a hard time ever forgetting. Like I said, I think he should have got that win against Shogun. It wasn't a robbery, but I think he should have got that win. And, Sean O'Connell coming off that war against Steve Bosse, just like I said, showed how tough he is, what big power he has. He knocked down Steve Bosse so many times. And, my pick here is ultimately going to be Corey Anderson via a 29-28 decision, but I completely disagree on these odds. My first bet of the card here, my first out of only 2 so far, with only these 4 fights having odds. First bet is a half-unit shot on Sean O'Connell, and I was impatient. I took the half-unit shot while he was at plus 280. Now he's plus 325. But, yeah, man, half-unit shot to win 1.4 units there. Corey Anderson, the pick. Sean O'Connell, the bet. So, moving on, we got Gian Villante minus 180 taking on Saparbek Safarov plus 158. Safarov, this guy's very unimpressive to me here. There's lots of, not only is he unimpressive, there's lots going against him here. He's super inactive. I don't even know how he got this call up to the UFC. He's small for 205. He's never really faced a good fighter. This short notice fight, and the travel coming in and taking on a hometown guy in Gian Villante. Gian Villante, he's not a perfect fighter by any means, so I can absolutely see him just giving this fight away somehow. But I truly think Gian Villante is the sharper fighter everywhere, and I like him to showcase his skills in this spot and have a nice New York performance and light up that crowd, man. I like him to stuff takedowns, which I think Safarov is going to be going for, and I think he's going to eventually just pick apart Safarov and put him away. So my official pick is going to be Gian Villante via a second round TKO, but as of right now, I am staying away from it betting-wise. Hopefully some money comes on in Safarov. I would consider a play on Gian Villante if he gets closer to like minus 140, even minus 150. But as of right now, no play on that fight. But moving on here to the co-main event of the evening, we got Francis Ngannou minus 550 taking on Anthony Hamilton plus 425. Francis Ngannou, he is a hell of a fighter, man. Funny story, the first ever live UFC I went to, UFC Orlando, Francis Ngannou, his debut was the very first fight of the night, and when he knocked out Luis Henrique and just the way Henrique collapsed to the mat, that is just something I'm never going to forget. I could hear that uppercut from so far away. It was very loud. Francis Ngannou, very big guy, very impressive striking, sharpening all his tools. This guy is just a savage, and I really think he is the future of the heavyweight division, man. Anthony Hamilton, he's basically a top 20 gatekeeper type guy at heavyweight, man. He's got sloppy striking, but big power. He's got decent wrestling, but not really any jiu-jitsu. Francis, he's shown improved takedown defense every single fight, especially against Curtis Blades, who's a very high-level wrestler. So, man, I think Anthony Hamilton might be looking for some takedowns, but I like Ngannou to keep it standing, and when it's standing, I think somebody is going to drop here between both guys' huge power. But Francis Ngannou having more power, better striking, more speedy, better athlete here. I'm going to go with Francis Ngannou via a first-round KO. And I do have a parlay of Francis Ngannou in the distance with something else I will be talking about in this next fight. So moving on to the next fight, the main event of the evening, Derek Lewis minus 190 taking on Shamil Abdurakhimov plus 165. And I just want to start off by saying I think this is a much better opponent for Derek Lewis than Marcin Tybura was. I'm very high in Marcin Tybura. I had a bet on Marcin Tybura. They were supposed to fight at that Manila card. Obviously, that got scrapped. I had a bet on Tybura as the underdog, but now I have a bet on Derek Lewis as the favorite here. So, get into the fight, man. Shamil, he's a guy that really just has not impressed me really at all. He's got decent kickboxing. He can outstrike the bottom of the division, but Derek Lewis, he's got a big striking advantage here. And most importantly, the biggest thing of this fight, he's got a huge power advantage. He is possibly the hardest hitter in the heavyweight division against, in my opinion, the softest hitter of the division. I think Shamil Abdurakhimov has really very low power for the heavyweight division. One of the softest hitters in the heavyweight division. You got to look at him, guys like him, Ruslan Magomedov. He just doesn't have much power, so he's not going to give Derek Lewis any trouble on the feet here. He might be the slightly sharper kickboxer. He could give Lewis some problems with kicks, but man, Shamil not being able to finish this fight, what's he going to do? He's going to go out there and beat Derek Lewis over the course of 5 rounds? No, man. Derek Lewis is eventually going to find his shot. He is going to land a bomb, and he is going to knock out Shamil Abdurakhimov. Even when it comes to grappling, obviously Derek Lewis, he did struggle against Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson took him down, but Roy Nelson is a seasoned veteran, and even Derek Lewis has some success getting back up to his feet there, and especially against Gonzaga. He was able to get right back up to his feet against Gonzaga and knock him out right away. And, maybe Shamil gets a takedown, but I like Derek Lewis to get back up to his feet almost immediately, and there's just no way Shamil can go out there and beat Derek Lewis for 5 rounds, and I don't see him finishing Derek Lewis. So I like Derek Lewis to eventually land the bomb, but I am picking him to land that bomb in the first round. My official pick, Derek Lewis via a first round KO. And that parlay that I was talking about, I do have a parlay of Derek Lewis in the distance with Francis Ngannou in the distance. 1 unit at plus 108. So, that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so very much for watching and joining me here. If you have not checked out my UFC 206 breakdown video, go check that out. Very good stuff on there. So, like the video. This takes 2 seconds out of your day. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter, and let's talk some fights. Comment below. Tell me who you're betting on this weekend. And thank you guys very much for watching. Enjoy the fights.